Hello, hi, and welcome to Political Quickie, your political show that subjectively discusses current affairs in South Africa and all around the world. My name is Mcebo Dlamini, right, is said to be one of the front-runner candidates to become the ANC Youth League president. We've come to know him as one of the leaders of the Fees Must Fall movement, a movement that was not affiliated with any specific political party. We saw the different leaders actually wearing different political parties' t-shirts from ANC, EFF. The movement was actually about advocating, protesting, and demonstrating for free, quality, decolonized higher education. It actually led to, former President Ubaba announcing free education for the poor in South Africa, which is not actually free considering the fact that VAT went up, and that's the money that's been used to actually pay or rather fund free higher education, which it should, because someone needs to pay for it, right? The masses must pay. The masses must pay. I'm going to be blunt, okay? The ANC Youth League is trivial. It is irrelevant at this point in time. I don't know whether they're coming or going. Literally, I have no idea what they stand for, what on earth, who they're representing, it is a mess. The ANC Youth League is a mess, okay? 98% of the time I even forget that they exist, right? The last time I heard about them was when Colin Maine admitted that it was Supra Mahumapilu who actually introduced him to the Guptas. That was the last time I heard about the ANC Youth League, okay? But the last time that the ANC Youth League was fierce, was prominent, was active, and actually representing young people was when the now EFF-CIC Julius Malema was its president. Right? It was always in trouble for, expropriation of land without compensation, for calling out white monopoly capital. There was always something in the ANC Youth League. And the corruption. Do not forget the corruption. So, right now, as it stands, the ANC Youth League is a shell of itself, and it's a shame. It's a shame because you've got the EFF. That is literally youth itself. The EFF doesn't need a youth league, right? Because it's a group of young people in parliament. The ANC, on the other hand, needs a youth league because the ANC is a group of old black men who are calling the shots. So they need young people to appeal to young people within the youth league. And the youth league is currently not doing that. That is why I actually think that the ANC Youth League needs to elect Mcebo Dlamini as its president to make it relevant again, because he actually appeals to the young black masses. He's the former SRC president at Wits University. He's actually still facing charges of public violence, violating a court order, theft, assault, all from the Fees Must Fall protest. To this day, he's actually continued to advocate for Fees Must Fall activists who are also still facing charges. Although everyone else has moved on from Fees Must Fall, he's still advocating for it. Can you believe it? So, in my opinion, I actually think he's more of an activist than a politician. And it actually freaks me out because although I understand that we're all human beings and, everyone has got skeletons in the closet, but becoming a politician, because it's one thing for him to be ANC and student activist, it's another for him to actually really enter the political arena where power corrupts. And so one day I'm advocating for him. Tomorrow I might be calling him into account. I actually do believe that Mcebo Dlamini genuinely cares about the interests of young black South Africans just because of what he's advocated for and, the movement Fees Must Fall. So I actually think that if he became the president of the ANC Youth League, he'd actually be taking the baton from Juju, because whatever that's happened between CIC, Julius Malema, and what's going to happen in the December conference is an absolute blur. Like, there was no leadership in the ANC Youth League. In fact, the ANC Youth League did not exist during that period. Okay? I think that Mcebo Dlamini would actually be building a different ANC Youth League as compared to Juju, because Juju is militant, he is radical, he is uncompromising, and we see that with the EFF. And one would argue that that is the reason why the EFF has been actually successful in attaining so much support from people, right? Mcebo Dlamini actually reminds me of Steve Biko. I know actually of someone, right, who I just had this conversation with, saying, no, there is just no way. By the mere fact that, Mcebo Dlamini, him being ANC, he supports the Kliptown Charter, aka the Freedom Charter, and Steve Biko opposed it. That's another story. You guys should go and read out. Okay, another story for another day. But actually, number one, these two people look alike. Like, you cannot deny the resemblance. They almost identical. Number two, they both studied law, right? Number three, they both believed and believe that you can change current circumstances through peaceful demonstration, right, and bargaining. Because although Mcebo Dlamini became militant in the twilight of Fees Must Fall, right, hence the charges that he's facing, prior to that, he was actually, the number one leader in terms of getting everyone to demonstrate and protest peacefully, which is actually something that Bantu Biko himself actually advocated for. He actually believed, right? Something that I disagree with. I actually don't believe this, and I love Bantu Biko. But he actually believed that he would get the apartheid government to listen to black people through peaceful demonstration and through bargaining. That's through the Black People's Convention. He actually believed that if black people had one voice and they bargained with the apartheid government would actually be able to concede to black interest, which, I mean, police state versus peaceful demonstrations. Come on. Come on. Okay? So, there are a lot of similarities between Bantu Biko and Mcebo Dlamini. Looking at their pictures, it is the creepiest thing ever. Like, one would actually be led to believe that this guy could be Steve Biko reincarnated just by looking at them, right? And the similarities that come with them. I think the ANC Youth League would be shooting themselves in the foot if they did not elect this guy. I mean, it's who else? I mean, if you want to continue to be invisible, Shapo, but this guy actually appeals to the masses. Young people know who he is, right? And I, for one, actually would never vote ANC, right? I no longer believe in the ANC. Once upon a time I did when I was young, and there weren't that many options, right? I believed in the ANC, but today, the way that the ANC has treated the people, the corruption, taking black people for granted, I do not believe in the ANC. But making a case for the ANC Youth League that in order for it to be relevant to young people, they should elect this guy. I still would not vote for the ANC though. Anyways, that was Political Cookie. My name is Mapaseka. Use your talents to serve humanity, and I will see you guys on Wednesday. Goodbye.